Hey everyone, it's Catherine here from the WVU Physics and Astronomy Department, and I am going to show you a cool experiment you can do at home with just some basic supplies. You do need a purple cabbage from the grocery store. This one's kind of old, I'm still in quarantine here, but it works for science. And the reason you need purple cabbage is because I'm gonna make cabbage juice. I'm adding boiled water here. This is boiling water. Just gonna let the leaves soak in for a little bit, and then I will have cabbage juice, which acts like a pH indicator. So I'm just gonna let that set for a little bit, and we'll check back in a minute. Okay, so I've let the cabbage juice sit for about 10 minutes, and I used a strainer to get the cabbage leaves out, so now I have just the cabbage juice. And remember, this acts like a pH indicator, so I have a little experiment going on here with 4 different cups. And I'm gonna pour the cabbage juice directly into this one, which I have labeled the control cup, because anytime you do an experiment, you wanna have a control. So this is the control with a pH of 7. That's because neutral is a pH of 7. So this is just water with some cabbage juice, colored with some cabbage juice. So in the other cups, I'm going to add other things to the cabbage juice and see how it changes color to indicate that pH change. So here's my cabbage juice. Here are my experiments, and I've got a couple of different household items here. I've got a cleaner, an all-purpose cleaner, and I'm gonna guess that this is a base, so I'm gonna put it to the left of the control. I'm just gonna kind of pour it in here. And what do you know? That cabbage juice really changed color. So, and it went to more of the blue, aqua greenish side of things, which means that this household cleaner is a base. So this all-purpose cleaner is a base, which makes sense. A lot of soaps and cleaning agents are very basic. Things that we wash our hands with are somewhat basic. But I also have this other thing here. I've got distilled vinegar, and vinegar is more of an acid. So I'm gonna pour this in the far side here. And look at that. We've got a beautiful pink color. So acids change the cabbage juice to more of a pink color. So just by looking at the color of the cabbage juice when you add different liquids, you can figure out whether those liquids are an acid or a base. And this final one I have here is for an experiment that I like to do to demonstrate ocean acidification. So ocean acidification is a problem resulting from climate change, where the extra carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere is being absorbed into Earth's oceans by combining H2O, the water in the oceans, with the CO2, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which creates carbonic acid. So our oceans are becoming slightly more acidic because of all the CO2 in the atmosphere. So how can I show that with this extra test cup I have here? I need to figure out a way to get some CO2 to mix with the water. And fortunately, I breathe out CO2 with every breath. So I can use a straw. That's the ideal option, to kind of just blow bubbles into the cabbage juice. You probably don't want to drink it even though it's not unsafe. You definitely don't want to drink any of the ones you've already tested. So again, you just be blowing bubbles into this one. But I actually don't have any straws at home right now, so we're going to try another method. I blew air into this plastic bag. I'm going to cut the end of it. And I'm going to squeeze that extra CO2 into the container. We'll see how that works. I really need a straw, I think, to make a big impact. It takes a lot of breath, and you do it over and over and over. And again, you really need to compare to your control sample here to see any small difference. You're not, in my experience, you're really not going to get to the bright pink with just your breath. That's far more acidic than you're going to get from the little tiny carbonic acid that your breath creates. But with time, with several breathing rounds of breathing into your test sample with a straw, you should see a change in color.